सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति। Okay. Oh, two clarifications. Deepika, action is carried out in three ways: through mind, word, and deed. Actions through word and deed has a potential to hurt the one it is aimed at. Can action performed at a subtler level of mind has the potential to hurt the other two? What Deepika is asking is, through action and word, you can hurt the other. Supposing if you are having a thought towards the other, will that thought hurt the other? Correct, Deepika? Is that what you are asking? Will that thought hurt the other? Answer. Your thought, word, and deed has consequences to you primarily. Again, I repeat, your thought, word, and deed has consequences to you primarily. Just as you have a choice to hurt the other can refuse to get hurt. You can choose to insult somebody. The other can refuse to get insulted. You're able to understand the difference. Just because you are trying to insult somebody does not necessarily mean the other will get insulted. The other will not feel insulted because the other has a choice not to get insulted. So the other can say, I refuse to get insulted. Okay, try as you may to insult me. I refuse to get insulted, a person can say. You follow what I'm saying? Therefore, your thought, word, and deed, manasam karma, vachikam karma, kayakam karma, whatsoever you do through these three primarily has consequences to you. Now, if not you, I don't mean you, Deepika, if somebody is constantly entertaining a negative thought about somebody, what effect will it have on the other? What effect will it have on the other? Will it have any effect? Minimum effect? Zero effect? Or your intended effect? The answer is it's a mixture. There will be some effect. It will not be zero effect. Zero effect is if the person has a powerful intellect. Whatsoever thought, word, and deed you generate towards the other, and if the other is having a very powerful, strong intellect, then it will hurt you only. It will not in any way hurt the other. Assuming that the other doesn't have that strong intellect, what happens then? assuming that the other doesn't have that kind of a strong intellect. What happens then? There will be an affectation because you have triggered it to some extent. To some extent, affectation will happen to the other. So primarily affectation will happen to you 100%. The intensity of the affectation to the other is dependent upon the strength of the intellect of that person. Are you able to follow? Deepika. If you entertain one, you will be hurt completely. When I say you will be hurt means there will be consequences to you completely. Now the question that Deepika is asking is not what happens to the person who's entertaining a negative thought. What happens to the receiver? What happens to the recipient? That's what her question is. For which the answer is, to the recipient, if the person has a strong intellect and refuse to get affected, there will not be an effect. If the person doesn't have a powerful intellect, that person will get affected. Are you responsible or the person not having intellect responsible? This is where the complication comes. Now, in this scenario, are you responsible or the person not having an intellect is responsible? Major responsibility is that person's. Some portion of responsibility will come to you also. Some portion of responsibility will come to you. That is why we have this idea of Vak tapas. Vak tapas. Vangmayam tapas uchyate, he says in the 17th chapter. For to avoid this complication only, we have this thing about Vak tapas. Vak tapas means a constant effort to say good things. A constant effort to say good things. You make it's an effort you make to keep saying good things constant. You follow? Therefore, Deepika, if you entertain negative thought, will it affect the other? It's called Sankalpa Sakti, power of thought. It can affect. Are you able to follow? If you believe your prayers can save the other, carefully follow. If you believe that your prayers can save the other, your negative thoughts can hurt the other. Again, I repeat. If you believe that your prayers can be of some help to the other, if you believe that your prayers can save the other, automatically the converse is also true. What? Your negative thoughts can hurt the other. It's called Sankalpa Sakti, power of thought. Power of thought can be harnessed negatively or positively. If it is harnessed positively, we call it as prayer. If it is harnessed negatively, it is constantly sending negative thoughts. It does have an effect. Primary effect it has on you, secondary effect on the other. In order to avoid that, all that you can do is what? You can have a powerful intellect and refuse to get affected. Powerful intellect means life of tapas. Powerful intellect is an effect. A life of tapas. A life of tapas will lead to a powerful intellect and the tapas will protect you. Therefore, anybody saying any negative remarks will bounce back. It happened in Buddha's life. In one village, he was welcomed. In another village, he was abused. That night, evening satsang, Ananda asked Buddha, how did you see both? He said, whatsoever people give me, I will return it back to them. I don't take anything from anybody, he said. He said, I don't take anything from anybody. Whatsoever people give me, I give it back. Have you ever observed that you go and give a fruits to a Mahatma, that Mahatma will give it back to you. The same fruit will be given back to you. You know that? Why? It is symbolic. Whatsoever you give will be returned back. So Buddha said, in the first village, praises was given, I gave back. In the second village, abuses was given, I gave back. It means I refuse to take. Most of the time, people don't have this kind of an internal strength. Again, I repeat, in most of the cases, in most of the time that we associate with the people around, they don't have this kind of an intellectual strength. Therefore, it is your responsibility to ensure that you don't trigger these kind of negative thoughts. You don't trigger. That is tapas from your side. Yeah. You don't trigger. It's like you wear a mask, no? You wear a mask so that you don't spread the infection to the other. That's all. You wear a mask. Why? In order to you wear a mask to protect yourself and also to protect the other. That's how it works. You follow, Deepika? Therefore, it works in both ways. Most of the time, the people around us don't have that kind of an intellectual strength. Therefore, it is extremely important on our part to ensure that I make an effort to bring positive thought, word, and deed. I ensure. You follow? Supposing you ask the reverse question. What is the reverse question? Somebody is sending negative thoughts to me, sir, all the time. What will happen to me? Supposing that's the reverse question. Are you able to follow the reverse question now? Now the question that she's asking is not she is sending, Deepika, don't send to anybody like this. Yeah, you don't send negative thoughts to anybody like this. Supposing if somebody is sending negative thoughts to you all the time, what will happen? He'll say, ignore. Ignore. Don't develop hatred, ignore. That's all. Don't develop hatred and ignore. But sir, if it is constantly, continuously happening, okay, if it is a neighbor, you can ignore. Third person, you can ignore. If it is a person in the house, what will you do? Neighbor, you can ignore. You can close the door. Supposing if there is if it is done by the person in the house, what do you do? Answer. What do you do? Huh? Huh? Talk it over. Prarabdha. Correct. Prarabdha. Titiksha. That's all. Correct. It's prarabdha. That's all. Nothing can be done about it. Or more you try, more you will end up getting frustrated. Because every try, you develop a hope. What is the hope? The other should change. Every time you make an attempt, you develop a hope. What is the hope? The other should change. Clear? More you talk, more the other will get more stubborn. At one point you say, oh, this you end up developing dvesha at the end, which is not right. You follow? Is it okay, Deepika? Yeah. Next clarification. Reference chapter 5, vital role of the intellect, introduction to intellect. Go. Only for Ranjini, the special title Chi. He was thinking for Deepika, there was no Deepika Chi. For Ranjini, there is one Ranjini Chi. Okay, good. She's also growing in. She's also growing in stature. Very good. Happy to see that. What is her problem? Vital role of the intellect. Introduction to intellect. Intellect means impartial, self-observing faculty. Correct. I question and judge my own emotions and attitudes to myself impartially. Correct. The ability to be in the middle and witness it. Consultation happens before I conclude I'm right or wrong. Question. This is what I said in the class. This is what is said in the class. Okay. Question. What does it mean to be in the middle and witness it? How to develop it? Further clarification. First, you said impartial self-observation means the ability to self-analyze and self-conclude. The role of intellect is to do impartial self-observation under guidance. Okay. The role of intellect is to do impartial self-observation under guidance, does proper self-analysis and comes to proper self-conclusion. Then you said not to do self-analysis and self-conclusion. மாத்தி மாத்தி பேசுறீங்கன்றார். See, say clear. வீட்டில் தான் அப்படி இருக்கீங்கன்னா கிளாஸ்லையும் யூ ஆர் டூயிங் த clear. Classலையும் யூ ஆர் டூயிங் த சேம் திங். அட்லீஸ்ட் பி கன்சிஸ்டன்ட் in the class, at least he say. Okay. Question. Therefore, should one do self-analysis and self-conclusion or not? Or what exactly one should do? Yes. Yes. First clarification. What does it mean to be in the middle and witness it? What does it mean to be in the middle and witness it? To be in the middle means not to be emotional. Emotions takes you into extremes. To be in the middle means not to be emotional, because nature of emotions is to take you to extremes. Joy, it will take you to extreme. Sorrow, it will take you to extreme. So nature of emotion is to take you to extremes. Therefore, to be in the middle means not to be emotional, not to be under the influence of the emotion. That's what is called to be in the middle. How does one do it? Lot of methods, lot of techniques. The whole study is about that. The whole study and understanding is about that only. That is answering the first clarification. The second clarification. At any given point of time, I said, impartial, the role of intellect is to do impartial self-observation. Till it gathers the strength. Till it gathers the strength of impartial observation, don't do self-analysis and come to self-conclusion. Take guidance of the Shastras, Guru, etc. You follow? In the initial stages, nobody will be able to do by oneself. The entire discussion came from the angle of what? The problem of life is self-analysis and self-conclusion. Again, I repeat, the problem of life is self-analysis and self-conclusion. Intellect comes and says, stop this practice of self-analysis and self-conclusion. And anytime you do this analysis, you will be under the influence of the emotion. Therefore, impartial observation becomes a utopia kind of existence, almost an impractical existence, almost an impractical advice. It's like telling the person who doesn't have an intellect, you should have an intellect. What help does it make? You follow till now? Till the intellect is developed, wherever you have a problem, let the intellect analyze, borrowing the material from the Shastras. till the time, till the maturity comes, you don't do self-analysis and self-conclusion. You don't do self-analysis and self-conclusion. You follow? Unmute her. Does she have anything in specific? Yes.
So are you saying after maturity you can do self-analysis and conclusion?
Yes, correct. Yes.
So till you gain maturity, you always seek the guidance of Shastra and do.
Yes. Yes. Till you gain maturity, take guidance. Till you gain maturity, take guidance, because at any given point of time, you will never know you are under the influence of an emotion. The difficulty is when you are under the influence of an emotion, you will not know that you are under the influence of an emotion. Just as the mad person will not know that one is mad. You follow what I'm saying? Wherever things looks very clear, be careful. That's all. That's all. Whenever things looks very clear and you believe you know exactly what you are doing, be careful. Emotions have taken over. How do you know that? You will regret later. How do you know that? You will regret later. It is a regret later indication that it was just emotional in the it was just being emotional in the past. You follow? So whenever you have wherever you know clarity, be just keep one window open. Just keep one window open. What is that one window open? Maybe maybe what I'm doing is not right. Maybe what I'm doing is not right. That is being impartial. Partial means I know what I am doing is right. That is being very partial. Impartial means maybe I could be wrong. Why? Because at any given point of time, you are operating on limited data. Limited data, limited intellect, or literally no intellect. Either limited intellect or no intellect, or guided by the wrong intellect. Look at the drama of life. Look at the drama of life. There is no intellect or limited intellect or guided by the wrong intellect, or you yourself guide. You guide yourself. You follow what I'm saying? Self-medication, self-diagnosis, self-treatment, idam problem. Yeah. Self-diagnosis and self-treatment. Why go to the doctor when Google is there? Type the symptoms, Google will tell you, and Google will tell you what your disease is. All that you have to do is type the symptoms. That's all. Poor Google will not know. Poor Google will not know. Why? Because what you mean and what you type are two different things. Because very difficult is to be, very difficult is to express yourself with clarity. We always assume what you intend to say, the other should receive. That's why in the artificial intelligence course, they say you have to train the artificial AI. No, more clearer you present, that much more accurate answer you'll get. It means you need to know how to present with clarity. You type one word and you do not know how that is going to understand that word. Answer will come very differently as a self-diagnosis and self-diagnosis, self-medication. You follow what I'm saying? Therefore, always keep one window open. What is the window open? In the areas where you have a doubt, you are safe. In the areas where you have no doubt at all, be careful. That's your problematic area. But it seems to be exactly the opposite. No, isn't it? I know exactly what I'm doing, sir. There's no problem at all. No. In the areas where you have a doubt, you are saved. In the areas where you don't have a doubt, you will be in problem. One, have you ever observed anything in relation to the higher, you will always have a doubt. Anything in relation to the lower, you will never have a doubt. You will just flow into it. The very fact that you are just flowing into it itself is an indication that it is slower, because higher is always irritating, frustrating. You can never flow into the higher. You cannot flow into the higher. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate. You follow what I am saying? The higher will be always irritating, because effort is required to go down, to go. So wherever you go down, it looks so. Those are the areas where you have to be careful. Anything in relation to the higher, there will be a doubt always. You are safe. Anything in relation to the lower, you will never have a doubt. It's a law of life. Huh? Why life is designed like that, we don't know, but it is designed like that. There is a Gautam Buddha walking on the road, and there is the Daith fellow walking on the road. Crowd will get attracted to whom? Daith means Deepika. You know the you know the fellow that sells strings, and that what you call for Daith in Hindi. I don't know. If at all there is any Hindi word for that, I don't know. Huh? Huh? Kavis. I don't know how to pronounce this Hindi. Huh? Tavis, Tavis, whatever. Huh? Tavis. 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 Do you understand Tavis at least? Anshu, you understood, no? Please tell it to your friend. Give a lecture to her on what it is. There is Gautam Buddha walking on the road, and there is this fellow walking on the road selling this. To whom will the crowd go? To whom there will be a natural attraction, to Buddha or to this fellow? To the street magician only. Because Buddha is irritating you. Buddha will irritate you. Buddha will frustrate you. Buddha will say, you are wrong. Don't do this. The street magician will say, what? The street magician will say what? Don't worry. Wearing this, you can do whatever you want. Who you will like. The fellow will say, the katna por, isn't it? Pay kuda varadi, he will say, isn't it? Even ghost will not come and attack you. 10 rupees. Ghost can be taken care of. That non-existing ghost it is, isn't it? With 10 rupees, you can take care of the ghost. Now, how cheap is that ghost? How cheap is that ghost? Follow? Take. Always be careful in the areas where you are very clear, where you are very sure, be careful. That is intellect. If things are obviously true, where you don't feel the need to question at all, it means you are completely conditioned. Again, I repeat, it's not that you have become wise. Again, it's not that you have become wise. You are completely, your conditioning is complete. Again, I repeat, in areas of life where things look so obviously true that you feel there's no need to question at all. Not that you have become wise, you are completely conditioned with it. It's conditioning, it is. You understand the difference? So better to take guidance till maturity. That's what we introduced in the very discussion about the intellect. That's what we introduced. The intellect becomes strong with the study of the Shastras, and with the study of the Shastra, the intellect becomes strong. Obviously, what it means is studying the Shastras under the Guru. That is implied. You don't do self-study. That is implied. Vedanta doesn't, Vedas doesn't advocate self-study. Minus the guru, you cannot read by yourself. That's why, as an example, the great avatar of Purushas themselves go to the Gurukula. Rama himself goes to the Gurukula. Krishna himself went to the Gurukula. Why? Because it has to be done under the Guru only. It has to be done. Because you will not know how to interpret by, you will not know how to interpret by yourself, or you will interpret it according to. Ah, yes, you will interpret it according to your whims and fancies only. That which suits you, you will interpret. Yeah, that which suits you, you will start interpreting. In relation to dharma, that is the problem. No, you interpret dharma not as told in the books. You interpret dharma according to your whims and fancies, saying that in this modern era, adalla, all that will not work. This is the self conclusion that you come to and start following the law that you create. Are you able to follow? You create the law and you follow the law. The law of karma says, I will ensure that you come back. I will ensure that you come back to realities. I will ensure that you come back to realities. You follow? That's why I said in one of the sessions recently, when you are emotional, you start making your own law. Dharma will go out of the window when you turn emotional. You will make your own law. That's the danger of becoming emotional. The danger of getting emotional is what? Your own law you will create. Emotional means infatuation. What is emotional means? Emotional means infatuation. In the areas of your infatuation, you will feel you are perfectly correct, isn't it? That's what emotional means. Emotional means a kind of a kind of infatuation you develop. Why do you develop infatuation? What makes you to develop infatuation? Anybody? Under what circumstance you will get infatuated? Ah, correct. Pampering. Your ego will be pampered. When your ego is pampered, you will get infatuated. Because that's what everybody is seeking. Wherever your ego gets pampered, you will develop an infatuation. You will say, we both understand each other so well, sir. Yeah. We are made for each other. We understand each other so well. Why? Because it's being pampered. Now, Shastra, the higher, is not going to pamper you. Not only it's not going to pamper you, it will keep poking also. It will keep poking. It will keep poking. When you are poked, you can never get infatuated. When you are poked, you can only get irritated and angry and leave. Correct? That's why very difficult to be with the Shastra or the Guru. At least personally, I always think, how are people so comfortable with the books? Because I'm thinking, sometimes I think I'm so dumb that I fought so much, I struggled so much. And I see people around so comfortable moving and doing this, doing that. I used to think, oh my God, maybe I would have done a lot of Papa Karma, I thought once. So difficult it is. Because it's constantly, it's constantly being poked. What is poked means? How does Shastra poke you? Constantly. It will never ever agree you are right. It will never ever agree you are right. When you walk in, you will be told you are wrong. Now tell me what is your problem. That's Shastra. Again, I repeat. That's why you cannot listen. It's very difficult. No, sir, but that person created this. What did I say in the beginning? No? What was the first statement? What was the first statement? You are wrong. No, sir. Wait. Avlo seekrana don't conclude. Listen to me first. Shastra said, no, you walked in, I know. That's why that's why with Shastra is very difficult. With the one who's pampering, it will be very comfortable. Why? Because pampering means in agreement with your ego. What does pampering means? In agreement with your ego. Pampering is that. And we look for those who will pamper. We look for this. You follow? Intellect is so strong enough that mind cannot play its game with the intellect. Now the intellect is weak. Therefore, the mind can easily play the game. Therefore, what is the saving grace now? The intellect will say, whatsoever is guided, it will be done accordingly, whether I like it or not. Are you able to follow? Whether I like it or not, I will do it in the way that I'm guided. In case if they have given wrong advice, sir, don't worry. Even if the advice is wrong, you will still be saved. How come you will be saved? How come you will be saved? You know, so easy. All the major decisions in life that they want to take, they will take by themselves. I have seen it. All the major decision in life, they will take by themselves, they will take. Therefore, even if you give any wrong advice also, you are still protected. Abdida, I save myself. If anybody comes with any major decision in life, I will say, or 6 மாசம் கழிச்சு பேசலாம், I will say. We will talk after 6 months. Because impatience, 6 months, nobody will have the patience to wait. So they themselves will take the decision and keep going. Narayana, at least you say, you follow what I'm saying? So most of the time they take their own decisions. Then what is guidance meant? What is meant by guidance then? What is meant by guidance? Actually, I don't know what people call it as guidance, because nobody comes for guidance. And actually, I'm so relieved that nobody comes. Genuinely, I'm saying this, sir. So relieved because nobody comes for guidance. If anybody comes for guidance, I will close the shop. I will say, I will close the shop and go away. It's difficult it is, because what a responsibility it is. Who wants to? Are you able to follow? And most of the time, you are saved. Why? Nobody will come to you for. If at all they come, what? If at all they'll come for what? Idli or dosa, sir? What difference is whether idli or dosa? Both you see. Are you able to follow? Very difficult for the mind, when it is under the influence of the emotion, to come to guidance. That's why from the beginning we have the training. From the beginning we have the training of consulting the Shastras. Tasmat Shastram Pramanam te Karya Vyavastita. For Karyam and Akaryam, wherever you have the distinction, you have to make Karyam and Akaryam. Where you have to go to? Tasmat Shastram Pramanam te. Let Shastram be the Pramanam. Pramanam means what? Pramanam means standard. Pramanam means authority. Pramanam means correction, direction. Pramanam means the one and only authoritative source where no cross-checking is allowed or possible. That is called Pramanam. Pramanam means the one and only authoritative source. Then only it can be called as a Pramanam. This is very important in strengthening the intellect. In the development of intellect, it is very important to understand the meaning of the word Pramanam. For color and form, the Pramanam is, for color and form, what is the Pramanam? Eyes. For color and form, you don't say eyes. For color and form, the one and only source of authoritative source is eyes. It means there is no other source you can go to. Are you able to understand the meaning of the word pramanam? That's why he says, Tasmat Shastram Pramanam Te. Pramanam means the one and only source. There is no other source with which you can do second opinion. You can never go for a second opinion. You can never go for a third opinion. It means you don't consider it as a pramanam. So pramanam means what? The one and only authoritative source. For color and form, only authoritative is eye. Either your eyes or somebody's eyes, but it is only the eye, isn't it? Therefore, for color and form, pramanam is eye. For sound, the pramanam is ear. One and only source. You have no choice. Choiceless, then only it can be called as pramanam. Supposing if you have a choice to color and form, you can consult the 5 organs. கண்ணால கலரை பார்த்துட்டு அந்த காதால வெரிஃபை பண்ணிக்கிறேன் சார் ஒரு வாட்டி. What? Color. Charcoal is black in color. Eyes have told you charcoal is black in color. Just to cross check, காதாலி ஒரு வாட்டி கேட்டுக்கிறேன். Is charcoal black in color? Na? If ear says yes, it's absurd. Correct? If ear says yes, it is absurd. If ear says no, that is also absurd. What one pramanam can reveal, another pramanam can never accept it or reject it. That's logic. That's how the Shastras starts, the pramanam. So when he says Tasmat Shastram Pramanam Te, what it means is the one and only authoritative source. In case if it is wrong, you have to consult them only. Just as, same example I keep giving again and again and again. Eyes have error. Eyes have blind spot. Eyes have error. Because of the blind spot and the error that the eyes have, will you stop using the eyes? Do you stop using the eye? You will not stop using it. Is your eyes 100% perfect? Not. But still you have no choice but to use only the eyes. Similarly, Shastra also. Some in the Shastra may not look logical. Some in the Shastra may not look appealing. But nevertheless, you have to consult them only. Are you okay till now? Last thing in Pramanam, you don't pick and choose. You don't pick and choose. Dangerous is to pick and Mullah Nazruddin was found dead drunk on the road. You know Mullah Nazruddin, no? Wonderful man. He was found dead drunk on the road. Maulavi, the Guru, said, you are a devout Muslim and you have to set an example to the others. How can you be like this? Mullah turned back and asked, do you think it is possible for a man to follow all that is said in the scriptures? What will be your answer? No. Scriptures have said, drink. You go to hell. Scriptures. Drink, you go to hell. You only agreed just now that all that is said in the scriptures cannot be followed. So I follow that which what? Therefore, my drinking has the sanction of your scriptures. What can you do to him? That's how we pick and choose in Pramanam. That's how we pick and choose in Pramanam and then come back and say Shastras don't. The Maulavi said, how can you talk like this? How can you talk like this? Maulavi said, how can you talk like this, Mullah? He said, isn't this advice you gave to that man yesterday? Somebody came to him for an advice and Mullah was sitting next. So this man, the Guru said, I understand all the said in the scriptures and all you cannot follow. Therefore, you follow? Huh? You follow what suits you. You said, no. Same advice I am following. He is interested in correcting the mullah. No, Mullah Nasruddin is correct. He is interested in correcting the Maulvi, not the. No, he's not interested in drinking Allah. Because he just sprinkled a few things on his face and he lied down. That's all. He was not even drunk. Why will he drink? Are you able to follow? So pramanam means you will never choose that. You will never pick and choose. Either it is pramanam or. But sir, this is kind of slavery, no? Isn't this as a kind of slavery? Should we not become free and independent? Correct. Now you are a slave. This is the way to become free. You are a slave. Now, not by listening to the Shastra, you are going to become a slave. Are you able to follow the logic? You are a slave now. Not by listening to a pramanam, you are going to become a slave. You are a slave now, and this is the way to get out of slavery. Therefore, intellect takes guidance. Intellect always takes guidance. In order to take guidance, there should be an awareness. What is awareness? In the areas where you lack clarity, you go and ask. Are you okay till now? The last point. When you go and ask, you will be told what to do. It will not be explained to you. Remember this. You will be told what to do. Prescription கொடுப்பாங்க அவ்வளவுதான். Prescription உட்காந்து வச்சு you will not be given அதுக்கு ஒரு 5-year course-லாம் எடுக்க மாட்டாங்க. You will not be, the prescription will not be educated upon. You will say, no, first educate me on the prescription, then I will take. The doctor will ring the bell and say, next patient. No time. Because he'll ring the bell and say, next patient. That's why it's so good. Some of the top doctors will always ask, do you have any doctor in your family? He will ask. Have you ever observed that? வீட்டில் யாராவது டாக்டர் இருக்கிறாங்களான்னு கேட்பார். எஸ், I'll talk to that man. I'll talk because it's so what can you talk? No, but your ego will demand an explanation because you think you can understand. What you can understand? Chemistry தெரியாது, biology தெரியாது, ஆனா disease பத்தி புரிஞ்சுக்கணும், how medicine will work. Yeah, we don't how to even communicate all this. So he has to come up with some story, and when he comes up with some story, he'll come back and say, very good doctor, sir. Why? Because he pampered you. How did he pamper you? By making you to believe you can understand. Shastra has no time for that. It says, when you what to do, what not to do this. What to do, what not to do it. You follow? This is how it works. Self-analysis and self-conclusion. And to develop a conviction in the pramanam is what is called Shraddha. Shraddha is nothing but conviction that Shastram is the pramanam. Shraddha is nothing but Shastram is the pramanam. Shastram obviously revealed through the Guru. Obviously, it is implied there. Shastra revealed through the Guru. ஒரே ஒரு யாட்ஸ்டிக் வச்சுக்கோங்க. Irritating guruna, don't leave that man. Comfortable guruna, run away from that fellow. அப்புறம் இரிட்டேட்டிங் குருன்னா யூ ஆர் சேவ்ட். ரொம்ப கம்ஃபர்டபுளா இருக்கு சார்னா run away because something is wrong there. Shastra will not, you can't develop comfort and all like that. There has to be a fear, there has to be a respect, there has to be an irritation. It's a combination of all these emotions put together. There will be a fear, there will be a respect, there will be a irritation, all emotions put together. Yeah. Is that? Guru will say, I am your friend. Yeah, Guru will say, I am your friend. You will not say, pardon, you will not say, isn't it? You will not do that. You still have that. You follow? To understand Shastram as the Pramanam means this. Then where is independent thinking? Where is questioning? Where is all that? Where all this comes? You try to understand the color and form, accepting eyes as the Pramanam. You don't question the Pramanam of the eye and then try to understand color and form. Are you able to follow? Again, I repeat. You accept the eye as the only Pramana for color and form, and then only you will try to understand color and form. You will not question, is eye capable of revealing color and form? Is eye the only source of color and form? Anga Shraddha illa. So any learning of color and form will be limited. Are you able to follow? Any understanding of color and form will not have that clarity at all. Why? Because life doesn't give you the option. What is the option? Pramanam means only one. So Shraddha means what? That's why the vital role of the intellect, Shraddha is the very important factor. Why Shraddha? Because it is talking about the subject matter that is adrishta. It is talking about the subject matter which is adrishta. It is not drishta. Follow. அது திருஷ்டாவை பேசவே முடியாது. What cannot be spoken as drishta? What is the subject matter of Shastra? Karma. Law of karma. Adrishta. இல்லையா? Punarjanma. What is Punarjanma? Adrishta. Correct? Extension of law of karma. You do good things, you will be saved. அது அதிருஷ்டாவா திருஷ்டாவா? Adrishta. Finally, the important subject matter of Shastra, God. Highest thought of human being is God. And God is adrishta by nature. So everything that Shastra deals with is adrishta by nature. Adrishta means it is not grossly perceptible. Even law of karma, to some extent, you can, even law of karma on a very superficial layer, you can understand it. Even through some pratyaksha pramanam, superficially you can understand little bit. That also if the time factor is immediate. Law of karma can be understood through pratyaksha pramanam only if the time factor is immediate. You do something now, this will happen 20 years later. There's no pramanam for that. Supposing you put your finger in the fire, you will get burnt 20 years later. What will happen? You are able to understand cause and effect there only because the time factor is short, immediate. Where the time factor is short and immediate, you can understand it. Where the time factor is long, we can't even understand it. Therefore, in relation to the Shastram, it is always the the Shraddha. It is always the Shraddha. Lastly, Shraddha is purely a subjective understanding. You as an individual can have an understanding, that's all. It cannot be a your Shraddha can never ever be transferred to somebody. Even to the so-called closest person of your life also, your Shraddha cannot be transferred. You have it, that's all. It's purely a subjective, the Shraddha is purely a subjective phenomenon. It cannot be transferred like that. If you try to transfer, the other person will say, you keep it. It will not suit me. It will not suit me. This is the intellect growing through taking the subject matter of Shastra. Subtle body நாலே அது சாஸ்திர பிரமாணம் தான். ஸ்கேன்ல பண்ணி பார்த்தா there's no subtle body. எல்லாமே there's no such thing called subtle body at all. There's only one thing. What? Gross body. Yeah, gross body made up of chemicals. அவ்வளவுதான். Gross body made up of chemicals. அவ்வளவுதான். கெமிக்கலை மாத்தி மாத்தி போட்டா இமோஷன் எல்லாமும் மாறினே இருக்கும். அவ்வளவுதான். There is no such thing called subtle body, mind, all pertains to the, there's only one thing, that is gross body. Subtle bodyன்றதே adrishta by nature. Are you able to follow? There is this thing called subtle body itself is adrishta by nature. And there is this thing called pranamaya kosha is adrishta by nature. So from A to Z, Shastra is adrishta. You accept the pramanam and then question. Just as you accept the eye as the pramanam and then try to understand color and form. You don't question the eye. You can question the eye, but whatsoever answer you get has to come from where? So you can question the eye. How correct are you in revealing color and form? You can question it. அது யார் ஆன்சர் கொடுப்பாங்க? Who can give the answer? I only can give the answer, because that is only. That's why Bhagavad Gita, Tasmat Shastram Pramanam De Karya Evastika. Bhagavad Gita. Just keep Shastram as the Pramanam Arjuna. Keep Shastram as the Pramanam. Internalized Shastra is called intellect. Buddhina enna artham? When you have internalized Shastram, that is called Buddhi. So intellect is not, which is different from the Shastra. Internalized Shastric understanding is what is called as Buddhi. That is why in the discussion of intellect, we distinguish between intelligence and intellect. What is the difference between the? I think it's a separate separate chapter. I think. I think next. I don't know. Isn't it the next chapter? I think it is. Intelligence is not. Isn't it? Chapter 6, intellect versus intelligence. What is the distinction between intellect versus intelligence? The internalized Shastra is what is called as intellect. So as if it is an external, we call it a Shastra. If it is internalized, we call it Buddhi. So Buddhi and Shastra are one and the same. It's very simple. All this we should have understood by now. Buddhi and Shastra are one and the same. If it is book la irundha, we call it as Shastram. Inga irundha, we call it as Buddhi. It means both are one and the. So internalized, digested, understood Shastra is called Buddhi. Therefore, intellect can be strengthened only through the Shastric study. Till you gain a clarity on the Shastric study, don't do the self diagnosis, don't do the self analysis, don't come to the self conclusion. Don't do the self diagnosis, don't do the self, don't do the self analysis, don't come to self conclusions, because your emotions will always direct your analysis. Emotions will start directing your analysis. What is emotions directing your analysis means? I like it, and then starts one kind of analysis. I don't like it, and start another kind of analysis. Both are not analyzing in the first place. Because what is the starting point? எனக்கு ரொம்ப பிடிச்சிருக்கு சார்னா அப்புறம் பேசி பிரயோஜனமே இல்லை இல்லையா? தட்ஸ் வை இட்ஸ் வெரி குட், கங்க்ராச்சுலேஷன்ஸ். எனக்கு ரொம்ப பிடிச்சிருக்கு சார். டோன்ட் ஆஸ்க் எனி ரீசன் ஆஃப்டர் தட் இல்லையா? தட்ஸ் வை யூனோ தட்ஸ் வை when they fall in love with each other, you should never ask why. You know that? When they fall in love with each other, you should never ask why, because they themselves won't know. Even if you ask why, they will give some reason. Some reason they will give. And any reason can be debated. Any reason can be debated and argued. Third reason, the person will get frustrated and say, don't complicate it. I like avladha. Or I dislike. So all analysis stemming from the like and dislike is not analysis at all, because you have made a decision already. You are asking for support to that decision. That's how we do self-analysis. That's why we say don't do self-analysis, because all the self-analysis will be done through this prism of likes and dislikes. The whole world is saying, like it, take it. Don't like it, leave it. Now what to do? So two opposite training. One kind of training is பிடிச்சா பண்ணணும், பிடிக்கலன்னா விட்டுறணும். வெரி குட். கார்த்தால பிடிச்சிருக்கு, மத்தியானம் பிடிக்கலன்னா வாட் டு யூ டூ? லீவ் இட். அஃப்கோர்ஸ் சார், வேட் இஸ் த ப்ராப்ளம்? நெக்ஸ்ட் டே திரும்பி பிடிக்கும். 3 days later, chaotic life will be. Life will be absolutely. You follow? So self-analysis minus the Shastric guidance is not self-analysis at all. Self-diagnosis minus the Shastric guidance is not self-diagnosis at all. Lastly, with this we conclude. From whom do you understand who you are? Have you ever thought about this? From whom do you understand who you are? By yourself or from the Shastra? By yourself, if you have understood who you are, you will think you are limited, restricted, constricted, suffering, sorrowful, etc. If you think so, who you are is told by whom? நீங்க யாருன்னு உங்களுக்கு சொல்றதே யாரு அப்படின்னா, நீங்க யாருன்னு உங்களுக்கு தெரியாது. யாருன்னே தெரியாத ஸ்டேஜ்ல உட்காந்து என்ன அனலைஸ் பண்ணாலும், சாரி 3-4 sentences தமிழ்ல, பிகாஸ் இங்கிலீஷ் இஸ் வெரி இரிட்டேட்டிங். இல்ல திட்டும் போது தமிழ்ல திட்டினாதான் கொஞ்சம் சாட்டிஸ்பாக்சனா இருக்கு. You get the satisfaction of saying a few things only in your language. Home vanda your tongue only comes. No, are you able to follow? See, who you are, who tells you who you are? From whom do you get the knowledge? From yourself or from the Shastras? If you get the knowledge about yourself from yourself, what will be the self conclusion that you will come to? I am an innocent victim. அவ்வளவுதான். செல்ஃப் டயக்னோசிஸ் அண்ட் செல்ஃப் கன்க்ளூஷன் பண்ணா ஒரே I am an innocent victim. World is the villain. I am an innocent victim. இதுதான் all the human self diagnosis and self conclusion is. Correct? Shastra says exactly the opposite. You are a victim of yourself, but not innocent. Correct. Carefully go. You are a victim. Correct. Of your own self. And don't say innocent. Don't say innocent. Who tells you who you are? Shastras. If Shastras tells you who you are, rest of the things about life also has to be gotten from them only. You can't go to Shastra and know who you are and come back and do whatever you feel like doing and understand who you are. How does it work? Is that Shraddha? This is what is called Shraddha. And this Shraddha is a very important component of the intellect. Mind will come with doubts. Mind nale samshayatma da. Mind nale, mind itself means samshayam. Yeah. Mind nale samshayam da. Samshayam na doubting. Yeah. That which you believe, you doubt. That is called samshayam. That which you believe, you doubt. God will save you, you believe, and you doubt whether God will save you or not. Yeah. Remember that? Samshayatma. Remember the story? The village prayed for rains, and the granddaughter carried the umbrella to the prayer. Remember that story? That small child carried an umbrella to the prayer. You know, no rains at all. So they decided that we'll do a yajna, havan, and rains will come. So as they were all going, the village head who organized the whole thing, the granddaughter said, "Wait 1 second," and she brought an umbrella. The man who organized everything looked back at her and said, "Why did you bring the umbrella? We are praying, no. When we come back, we will get wet. We need the umbrella when we come back." What did the village head said? The வீட்ல வச்சுட்டு வா. Because he himself is not one part of him saying prayer and rains will happen. Another part in him is saying prayers and rain has no connection. If at all it rains, it will rain because of that girl only. Rains, it would have rained definitely. And who brought that rain? That umbrella brought that rain. That's Shraddha. You follow? Samshaya means what? That which you believe, one part of you believes in it, the other part in you doubts that. கொஞ்சம் ஜாகிரதையா இருக்கணும்ல சார். You should be little bit careful, no? Correct. Should be little bit careful. Should not get too. Should be little bit careful. Is it okay? The vital role of the intellect. We'll continue next.